And taking a look at the candidates in the race for Benton County Commissioner District 3, we begin with William McKay.
Perfect. My name is Will McKay, and I am from Kennewick, and I have chosen to run because I feel that our men that are in there right now are not meeting up to what is required from us constituents. I have a business in town, and I have had major issues with keeping the doors open because of the COVID issue that we've had, and that was one reason why I got going looking into this. And they sent a letter out finally 42 days after the 30-day stay-at-home from our governor. To me, that's 42 days late. That letter should have been written to the governor within a week after that 30-day stay-at-home, stating basically, hey, we're different over here. Let us try to control it over here by ourselves. I know that our numbers are up right now, and I think it's more of an education of people that need to get educated on how to stay safe right now. So the COVID thing is a major issue. And after diving into the COVID, we had other issues with our public safety tax and not being used properly. There's between $16 to $18 million in that tax fund that has not been used at all. And there's the deputy department, the police department, they need a couple more radios to get better service in the areas. And then also the other issue that I have is budgeting. Obviously, we're going to run into massive issues for the next 4, 5, 6 years of budgeting. And I just feel that the gentlemen that are in there now don't have any skin in the game. They don't own a business. They don't have any kids at home. I have 4 kids that are in the school district. So the choices that I make affect me, and they affect everyone else in the Benton County. And I feel that they don't have the desire or care of for us. And my last little statement is if you notice, I have all of my property signs but one is in one right of way. All of my other property signs are in private property. And to me, private property and those God-given rights are very important to me. And so those are the main reasons why I'm running. So that's my opening statement. Thank you.
Do you think the budget for the Benton Franklin Health District is adequate considering the impact of COVID-19 in our area, and why or why not?
I feel that they do have enough money to combat with COVID-19. For me personally, the issue is the communication between our other the Franklin County and here, and also the public health department, the public health department, Franklin Benton Health Department. I feel that they're not getting the numbers counted correctly, but also so I feel that there is budget in there. I just don't think that the communication and the organization, again, the only thing I can give them credit on is that no one has ever gone through this. So the issue is unknown, but we need to keep learning from our mistakes, and the mistakes I think keep getting made over and over again with the communication and the testing and making sure that we're recording them correctly. But I do feel that they do have the budget for that. I know last week they had a meeting of a gentleman that's in the Franklin, the health department, and they granted him more money to hire another person on to help him out. And I know that he was doing some online stuff, some computer stuff. So he was getting overworked. And so I know that they do have money in there to help educate and help us stay safe.
How important is it to you to preserve open spaces within Benton County? And can you address how that might affect the quality of life and future tourism dollars?
Yeah, so I strongly, see, I own a construction company, and so I do a lot of buildings and houses and everything. And so open spaces for me is very important, and you have to find that happy medium of bringing tourism in, but also finding the places, hey, where can we put another neighborhood up to keep our growth going? So with my experience and dealing with the Seattle groups the environmental groups that, sue us and hold us down for opening up other areas for development, I have relationships and experience on doing that. But yes, open spaces, I'm a strong advocate for those spaces and to help to bring tourism in. And I bring the communication thing back. I really strongly feel that we can bring more tourism in if Franklin County and Benton County work together on those items.
Thank you. And Benton County is becoming more diverse in its population. Should the county make an effort to reflect that diversity in its hiring and training, including the sheriff's department? Why or why not? And how would you do that?
It's more diverse, yes. I feel that there's a great diversity right now in the sheriff's department. Again, I could be wrong. I mean, there's a lot for me to learn still. I did meet with the Deputies Guild about 4 weeks ago. The diversity in that group was awesome. So I feel it's doing well now with the diversity. But again, if something comes to me, I'm a facts person. So if there's facts or issues that come up, I for sure dive in and look at that. But as of now, I don't see an issue with that. Did that answer that question?
Yes.
Okay. Didn't know if I need to get more detailed or not.
You have more time if you wanted to take it, about 45 more seconds, but you're certainly not required.
No, I'm good.
And then finally, your 1 minute closing statement. Keep it brief, but anything else you feel like needs to be heard?
Okay. You know, I don't really, at the beginning of this, I decided to run. I had the thought process of running during the Christmas, New Year's time and stuff. But what really got me was that letter to Franklin County. And I dove in to see what our commissioners are doing. And I feel that our commissioners are complacent. I feel that they are career politicians. And I don't feel that they care about what's going on in our community. 2 weeks ago, there was one commissioner that was venting about, I'm done with the governor. I'm done with the governor. And then all of a sudden he said, I'm also done with getting emails from everyone asking what we're doing for COVID. Well, you're not paid to be done. You're paid to fight for us and defend for us. And they're not doing that. And the last little bit is I'm a businessman, and we need to have business people in the commissioner's seat to run the commission and the county like a business.
Mr. McKay, thank you very much for joining us today. We appreciate your responses.
Thank you very much.
And continuing our look at the Benton County Commissioner race for District 3, we're now joined by Jim Beaver. Jim, thank you very much for calling in.
Oh, thank you.
Well, first of all, I want to give you a chance to do your 2-minute opening remarks.
Well, I'd like to say hi to everybody. I'm running for county commissioner again, and I spent 30 years running for office. I was selected to the Kennewick City Council in 1990, voted in as mayor in 1996. I spent the next 6 terms being the mayor, 13 years as the mayor. In 2009, I got elected to the Board of County Commissioners, and I've been serving the community for 30 years. I mean, that's kind of what I do. I believe in building a better community. That's what I believe in. And I've always said, you know, if a day comes where the community, if they don't think what I'm doing is right, then, you know, send me home. So I don't have a problem with elections or how things play out or all that stuff. You work hard, you try to do the best job you can, and that's kind of my whole mentality. Thank you.
Fantastic. And we'll start with the first of 3 questions. First, do you think the budget for the Benton Franklin Health District is adequate considering the impact of COVID-19 in our area, and why or why not?
We've tried to change that a little bit. And so the answer to the question is no. And so how do you make a midterm adjustment in the budget and adjust for changes that are, in my opinion, an emergency? So the bi-county operation, which is difficult because it's a 2-county program, we got to go down that road. So the answer to your question is no. We should be providing more resources to make sure that we're not going to be in trouble.
All right. And question number 2, how important is it to you to preserve open spaces within Benton County? And can you address how that might affect quality of life and future tourism dollars?
It's very important to me. I think the outdoors and recreational opportunities are very important to our community. I'm a little concerned about some things like wind farms, taking open spaces away from people. I'm really discouraged by not allowing open space to be part of the planning process, let's just say. So that concerns me.
And question number 3, Benton County is becoming a more diverse population. Should the county make an effort to reflect that diversity in its hiring and its training, including the sheriff's department? Why or why not, and how would you do that?
Well, the answer to that question is yes, and we can display diversity everywhere we go. My grandfather was an Indian, so I grew up in an Indian kind of deal. And so I don't have a problem with integration. I don't have a problem with, I've lived it my whole life. So during the winter when I have a tan and people want to know where I went on vacation, that's really not where I'm at. I'm just the dark guy. So I get that whole program.
Right. Well, finally, just an opportunity here to let you give us a 1-minute set of closing remarks.
I've appreciated all the years I've served. I believe that you build a better community. That's what I believe in. And so we were taught when I was little that you leave a place better than it is after you leave before you got there. So that's my whole kind of mantra to this thing. I did it when I was the mayor of Kennewick. I did it for 18 years on the city council, and I'm still doing it as a county commissioner. My role as an elected official is to leave this place better than it was. And so that's what I believe. That's what I want to do. That's where I'm at.
Jim Beaver, candidate for Benton County Commissioner, District 3, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Take care.
And now we're joined by another candidate for the Benton County Commission, District 3, Joe Lusignan. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it.
Well, let's get right off with your opening statement. You have 2 minutes. Let's hear it.
Okay, my name is Joe Lusignan. I'm running for Benton County Commissioner, District 3. A little bit of background. I'm a Marine vet, spent some time in the Middle East. Therefore, I'm a member of the Veterans of Foreign War and the American Legion. I'm also a retired Benton County Sheriff's Officer, deputy, and spent 23 years serving the community of Benton County, very thoroughly familiar with the Benton County, the players, and the way we do business. I'm also, of those 23 years, I volunteered for 19 of those years in a youth organization called the Young Marine Program. After retirement from the Benton County Sheriff's Office, I was brought on as a corporate officer, as a deputy director for the national program, and worked 6 years, of which I've just recently left. I'm running for Benton County Commissioner because I have a passion for this community. It's the community in which I live, and I want to do a couple of things. One is bring about more accessibility, more transparency, and more accountability in the commissioner's role. We have a lot of issues that we need to deal with standing budget, with partnerships with our local leadership that needs to be improved, and even partnerships with the Franklin County commissioners. We need to work on improving those as well. And so with that, I have executive leadership skills as far as being deputy director and responsible for a multi-million-dollar budget with the Young Marine Program, and I'm really ready to get to work. In fact, of the candidates, I am the only one who will have the time to be a full-time commissioner and 100% dedicated to raising the life and for the Benton County citizens and its employees. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lusignan. Now, we'll start with question number 1. Do you think that the budget for the Benton Franklin Health District is adequate considering the impact of COVID-19 in our area, and why or why not?
Well, referring to the budget of the Benton County Health District, I believe that it's adequate. However, I don't believe the supervision has been appropriate. The Benton County and Franklin County Commissioners are the board of directors for the health district, and I believe that there has been offers to the health district as far as more assets and more employees, and they recently turned them down, reversing the course very recently in order to be able to do the job that they have to do. I think that with better supervision, the commissioners need to have a better handle on the health district, and it's one of those cases where you supervise somebody, but you're not really paying attention to what they're doing. I think with better guidance, better supervision, and more instruction and a hands-on approach, they can have done a better job than that they've been doing. I don't believe that they've been instructed that well to work on behalf of the county, and they serve two masters, both being the state as well as the county, and I believe their loyalties have been divided, and as the supervision for that organization, the commissioners need to do a better job at instructing them for their outcomes that they should be delivering to the county.
Thank you. And question number 2 is, how important is it to you to preserve open spaces within Benton County? And can you address how that might affect the quality of life and maybe future tourism dollars?
I think our open spaces is one of the things that attracts people to the Tri-Cities area. And I think it's very important, and it has to be maintained. While we want to expand as far as to provide better better opportunities for residential homes for our community, and more of a middle ground where people can gravitate and realize the American dream by owning their own home. We have to always keep in mind one of the magic things about the Tri-Cities is that our parks and our recreation opportunities, living on the Columbia River as well as bordering two others, a lot of the attraction for Benton County is our parks and our our rivers, and that always has to be a focus on maintaining them and to preserve the pristine things of nature that we're provided to raise it's one of the assets in our community that helps us raise our children outdoors instead of indoors. And so I think it's a logical as well as a primary role of the commissioners is to oversee that we don't fill those things in with urban sprawl, that we maintain our quality of life and a reason to get outdoors and enjoy the weather.
Thank you. And question number 3 is, Benton County is becoming more diverse in its population. Should the county make an effort to reflect that diversity in its hiring and training practices? And that includes the sheriff's department. Why or why not? And how do you do that?
I think it's incumbent on all of us to be as inclusive as we can. But also we need to remember that we don't want to lower the quality of our employees. For instance, I sat on the hiring board for the sheriff's office when I was a lieutenant in the sheriff's office. And it's basically driven by testing, as well as polygraphs, as well as psychological testing, as well as physical fitness testing and oral board interviews. And I think that we want to maintain our high standards, but when given the opportunity, we also want to, we have to diversify in all our efforts as far as our employees go. And so I would reach out to other groups. For instance, we mentioned testing for the sheriff's office. The time to prepare for testing is before you test. And so whether it be through Explorer programs or other types of avenues that we reach out to diverse groups to try and cultivate those future employees. And so whether it be from the lower socioeconomic folks or those who are not necessarily, that we want to be as inclusive as we can in reaching out, whether it be through job fairs, whether it be high school classes, whether it be college classes, to try and garner the interest of those interested in serving the Benton County prior to the testing processes.
And finally, your opportunity to make a 1-minute closing statement.
Well, in the 1-minute closing statement of the candidates, I am the only one with executive level leadership. The only one, as you were. executive level leadership, and I'm the only one who does not have any other businesses. I will be a full-time commissioner, which our community desperately needs in these times of trouble and strife. We need somebody dedicated to putting us back in the race, putting us back in the game, and to raise the issues of the problems that we have. And so my other candidates have other businesses, have other attention. I'm an empty nester. And I have 100% all in for the Benton County community.
Mr. Lusignan, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate your answers and getting to know you better as a candidate.
Thank you, Matt. A little bit stressed with the time limits, and I wish I knew you better, but we'll get that farther down the road. Thank you very much. And I'd also like to thank you guys for keeping the voters informed as the potential candidates and their abilities.
Well, thank you very much.